Fella to cough it up. To win it. Clemson wins it.
Some of Clemson's greatest basketball moments have come against the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Top-ranked North Carolina with its first conference loss of the year. And the party is just beginning at Little John Coliseum.
But they have never won in Chapel Hill. No wins, 58 tries in a record that seems unbreakable. Will the streak end tonight? The Tar Heels and Tigers in a top 20 matchup from the Smith Center next. Tuesday night ACC College Hoops. Hour and 20 minutes ago, Brad Brownell and the Clemson Tigers arrived inside the Smith Center, awaiting Joel Berry and the Tar Heels, with Luke May off to a tremendous start in conference play. Two teams inside the AP Top 25 for the first time in just better than 8 years. Number 20 Clemson and number 15 Carolina. And with Dan Bonner, West Durham, we welcome you courtside here in Chapel Hill. All right, the history is well documented. Clemson is winless in 58 swings. But what does that mean to these guys, Dan?
Wes, fortunately for these Clemson Tigers, they're not history students tonight. They're basketball players, and what they're trying to do is get a road win in a very difficult environment. They'll have enough on their minds, and 0-58 doesn't factor in.
Well, in the case of Carolina, a very important road win. The Tar Heels, Roy Williams admits, got lucky and survived at South Bend.
Doesn't matter if you got lucky. The key word there is survive. That's a critical road win. And in an ACC that seems to be wide open this year, every win that you can get is important. They certainly want one here at home.
Meanwhile, the Tigers are also trying to find a way to get a win. They've won 11 of their last 12, and they're staring down the barrel at history tonight in Chapel Hill. Heels and Tigers right after this. By Husqvarna Auto Mower. All-Star lawns start with Auto Mower. Seeing is believing at automower.us. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. And by CPI. Well, the retired number 12 of Philip Jackson Ford Jr. from Rocky Mount, who went toe-to-toe, if you will, with Cordell George's Wayne Tree Rollins in the mid-70s in an unbelievable barn burner between the Tigers and Tar Heels. And tonight, Dan, our hearty star to watch, boy, Luke May's coming on like a house of fire.
He has had a fantastic season. He can score inside or outside. Wes, let me tell you, last year as a team, the North Carolina Tar Heels had a player get more than 10 field goals in a game 4 times total. As a team, our hearty star to watch tonight, Luke May, has already done that 5 times this year.
In the first half last Tuesday night against Boston College, an impressive 20-10 for May in the opening 20 minutes of play. Thomas and May get us started. Les Jones, Mike Eads, Lee Cassell on the whistle tonight in Chapel Hill. And here is Shelton Mitchell from Waxhaw, and a transfer from Vanderbilt. He'll play with DeVoe, Marquise Reed, Elijah Thomas, and the senior Dante Grantham. And Thomas an early touch. And it's 2-0 in favor of the Tigers on Elijah Thomas's basket.
North Carolina opening the man-to-man. Clemson showed a great deal of patience, and that's exactly where they have to go. Luke May is such an outstanding offensive player. The way you guard him is to attack him on the defensive end.
Third straight lineup. Carolina goes small, if you will, at the start. Berry a triple try. And a rebound battled for, and a whistle and foul will be tagged to Marquise Reed, or to, beg your pardon, Theo Benson.
Elijah Thomas doing a great job working for position inside. You see nobody comes to help. That's going to be a very difficult matchup for Luke May. I mean, if you let a big guy like Thomas, he is so strong on the inside, he can use either hand. If you let him have 2 dribbles, you're not going to stop him all night. But keep in mind that Thomas in 5 ACC games has missed a tremendous amount of time with foul trouble. He hasn't fouled out, but he's had 4 fouls 3 times, 3 fouls once.
Including the win over Miami on Saturday at Little John Coliseum.
In the game where he had 2 fouls, there's a turnover. He had 2 very early and missed a great deal of time in the NC State game. Now, That's the Clemson cannot turn it over. Fortunately for them, they turned it over in a situation where North Carolina didn't get a transition opportunity.
So dead ball chance, and now Carolina down 2-0. We played a minute and 10 seconds. Pinson a three. Long rebound pulled away. This is Gabe DeVoe.
And that's okay if you're Clemson. Theo Pinson shooting under 15% from out there. Now there is a turnover that's going to give the Tar Heels a chance to run.
Barry running free with the second Tiger giveaway, and Williams a triple. And Kenny Williams, the sixth best three-point shooter in the league, Dan.
And that's not a layup, but that's a fast break basket in transition.
Tar Heels in front on Williams' 37th three of the year. Only 5 for Kenny Williams on Saturday in the win at Notre Dame. Reed, Grantham, blocked by Pinson. Recovered by the Pitt transfer, Cam Johnson. Tar Heels on the break. Williams another three. And a rebound for Thomas, and a quick outlet. Here's Grantham with Barry to beat. Can't finish, and Pinson cleans it up. Dante didn't have numbers there for the Tigers. Clemson is a much better defensive team this year than a year ago. They'll have to be tonight. Johnson on the cut.
They are, Wes, but they've got to be able to set their defense. I'm not sure that anybody is really a good defensive team if you're playing in transition all the time. You got to make North Carolina stop and set up. And you can't give them the ball.
Mitchell. Skip it. DeVoe cuts one loose and hits.
And that's what North Carolina has to avoid. Sometimes they have a difficult time containing the dribbler. And if Clemson can get inside that defense, they have a number of different players who can shoot the three.
Tied at 5 on Gabe DeVoe's three. May against Grantham. And rebounded by Thomas. Brad Brownell very concerned about Carolina's rebound margin and efficiency off those rebounds. And there's a travel by Reed. Third turnover by Clemson here as we get to tonight's edition of Dan Bonner's Forward Keys to the Game.
I think really for the Clemson Tigers, their guys in the middle really have to play well. Thomas, Grantham, and plus they've got to get guys into the middle to kick it out for threes. And for North Carolina, I don't think they want to play against 5 Clemson set defenders. They've got to create some turnovers, block some shots, get some rebounds, and get out and run. This isn't a North Carolina team that runs the way North Carolina teams in the past have run, but I still think they need to get some easy baskets.
Barry trying to squeeze by Reed, had it stripped. Recovers in traffic. Pinson, May, Johnson a three. Williams the follow on the offensive glass.
They may need to put that one in the playbook.
Skipping around, missed the three, and Williams tap it home.
They have it bounce off about 4 guys and then have the other guys pass it.
Almost 4 minutes gone. Reed. A skip from Mitchell. Now here's Thomas again, Dan. Double team help from Barry. Shelton Mitchell a left-handed three. And DeVoe a nice rebound in traffic and a Tar Heel foul. That'll get us to a timeout. Carolina 7, Clemson 5. We're early tonight in Chapel Hill on ACC College Hoops. Well, 152nd meeting between Carolina and Clemson, but the storyline anytime these two play in Chapel Hill is consecutive home victories. Yes, 1926 is when it started at the old Tin Can, and you see it is among Division I basketball the longest.
There's no way to really describe that. You say, well, that's pretty impressive.
Well, the Wizard of Westwood was on there twice. I want you to see that. I mean, UCLA owned USC and Washington State in terms of the win streak.
Well, Clemson only has the opportunity once every other year to break that streak now.
That's right. After the foul, by the way, on Cam Johnson, sent us to the break. And that ball got deflected by Williams.
It sure did.
Mike Eads, nice piece of officiating in front of the Hall of Fame head coach Roy Williams in season number 15 now in Chapel Hill with 830 career wins, 412 at his alma mater.
Roy told us he had been suffering from some laryngitis. He said he couldn't coach if he couldn't yell.
Virginia and Florida State, ironically, were the games. And DeVoe, boy, Clemson's unforced errors here early.
Well, Wes, you want to be really intense, that's 4 turnovers now. And in their loss at NC State, they put themselves in a big hole with turnovers. They lost the points off turnover battle 20-15 in a game they lost by 1 point. Roy Williams would like to see that continue here today.
Johnson. Grantham. Henson. Bounce pass May for the dunk.
That's really good movement on offense by North Carolina.
First basket for Luke May, who's had 10 double-doubles this year, 3 in league play.
The hardest guys to defend are the guys who are moving. The easiest guys to defend are usually the guys dribbling.
Reed, a 3 from out front. And Pinson. Skip back for Williams. Here's Cam Johnson from out front. 5 for Johnson, his 10th 3 in his 8th game, and Brad Brownell sees his club down 7 now on 5 in a row by Carolina.
North Carolina has gotten some good shots because Clemson has been a little impatient on offense, and they've been turning it over.
Grantham caught in the flange. Possession will belong to the Tar Heels.
And that is another very tough shot. And you talk about movement with the ball. Drive to the basket, draw the defense. Look at this, and Grantham is just behind May. Nice job by May cutting to the basket. And then in transition, once again, North Carolina able to get the wide open 3.
Barry, 15 to shoot. Skip all the way across. Williams, hesitation, 3 ball. 8 for Kenny Williams. 10 in a row now by Carolina. And a Tiger timeout. What did Coach Brownell tell us today? They're different in this building. We got to be able to handle a little bit of that too tonight.
Well, they have really not played very well on the offensive end, and that has put their defense in some trouble. North Carolina really moving the ball very well, but Clemson really hasn't had a chance to set their defense very many times.
Well, the Tar Heels already with 3 threes, 2 for Kenny Williams, who now, Dan, is not only one of the better three-point shooters in the ACC, number 6 coming into tonight at 43%. His defensive appreciation and reputation has certainly increased here in the last year or two.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Of course, he came in with the reputation as being an outstanding shooter, but lots of times a guy comes in as a freshman from high school with that reputation. It's hard to do that with the quicker pace of the college game, but certainly he seems to have adapted very well to that pace this year.
Remember now, he was lost in February a year ago to a knee injury, did not play through the balance of the postseason or certainly into the NCAA run out in Arizona. But he's been a big factor so far this campaign. Comes in tonight averaging 12 points a game. 10 to shoot from Mitchell. Scarra is the transfer from Valpo. Contested at the iron. Pinson away with it.
I think Pinson actually got it.
Tried to dump it inside to May. Theo threw it away, and here is Marquise Reed.
Pinson is a guy who doesn't mind taking chances.
DeVoe, Mitchell, Reed, a 3. Bounces out, and over the inline, last touch to Elijah Thomas.
Wes, isn't it interesting that the very first play of this game, Clemson threw the ball inside to Elijah Thomas for a post move against Luke May, and that's the last time we have seen that.
Yep.
The pace of this game really favors North Carolina in a transition type of affair.
Dan, Clemson, 5 of their first 9 shots from the floor from behind the line for a team that shoots 37% coming in. And in conference play, they're shooting almost 39, but...
Well, I don't think that you can play against this North Carolina team from the outside in. You've got to get the ball inside, establish the inside, draw the defense, and then get some open threes. Their threes tonight have been contested affairs.
Robinson in the corner, another Williams 3. Front rim miss. Brandon Robinson, who's come on the floor with Sterling Manley, helps out. And a second chance, his reward a 3. Wow. 5th 3 of the year for Brandon Robinson, who had been 1 for 6 from the floor in his last 3 games coming in. The run is 13 in a row now by the Tar Heels.
Clemson desperately needs a basket here.
Reed picked up on his dribble, 10 to shoot. Mitchell now. Manley trying to help off the screen. Mitchell a three. And a rebound for Williams.
Contested threes, rushed threes.
Kenny Williams. And a reach-in foul. Marquise Reed will draw his first. Number 1 on the Tigers here tonight. Game 1 of our doubleheader. Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski standing by at the Carrier Dome tonight for the Orange and the Panthers. Syracuse 1-4 in the league. Pittsburgh 0-5. Both will be grinding to try and get a win.
Clemson in the man-to-man.
Barry. Pinson, another three. That makes Theo, by the way, 4 of 29 from the three line this year. Manley, the jump shot, the rebound bounds away to the Tigers. Skara and Manley both hit the deck. Thomas at the other end, a Euro and then some. Elijah Thomas. Big fella got the bounce, the Euro and one. My goodness. In transition, the big fella finishes. Tigers will be shooting a free throw when we come back. Is brought to you by the Works Hydro Shot, the first portable power cleaner. Well, the North Carolina National Championship banners here in the Smith Center. And during the timeout, hashtag Hey Woody.
A lot of champions in the building tonight.
Oh, well, great news today for my dad. Oh, there's Phil Ford. Go get it, number 12. My dad was called and told he is the incoming Hall of Famer in the National Sports Media Association, Dan.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yep, awfully proud of him. And here is Elijah Thomas at the line after, what a move by Thomas, going to the break. And the free throw good. Big fellow will be a factor tonight. He's got 5, averaged 6 points, 5 rebounds in their last 2 games. But as you mentioned, the foul trouble held him to just 17 minutes of contest.
Well, and he's out of the game now, even with no fouls. They're giving him a breather. Donnell has played well in the last couple of games, but I really think Clemson has to devote some energy to get the ball inside. North Carolina just continues to move very, very well without the basketball.
First points of the night for Pinson. 12-point ball game at 20-8. Grantham in the corner, Reed. Barry there to contest. Reed tried to split the difference on the drive, and a whistle. It's on Sterling Manley, the freshman from Pickerington, Ohio, his first.
And so far, North Carolina giving you a good indication of what it means to move without the basketball. Pinson went to act like he was setting the screen and slipped it to the basket. Very poor defense by Clemson.
So here is Reed now. A 85% free throw shooter is Marquise Reed. And the first one good.
And I think Clemson needs to do more of that. Brad Brownell knows that his guys have to drive the ball to the basket, Wes. But the drive to the basket shouldn't be the first thing you do when you come down the court. You move the ball from side to side. Then, once you've got the defense moving, you attack the basket.
By the way, Clemson has 2 of the best free throw shooters in ACC play. Reed is 4th. Shelton Mitchell is 3rd, Dan, already in the 5 conference games they played.
And, Wes, that doesn't mean anything unless you can get to the free throw line.
Right.
So that's what place where Clemson ought to be trying to go.
9 minutes gone first half. Manley fights up in between the double team and draws the foul and scores the basket. Both Donnell and Skara were there.
Manley just rolls to the basket, and Donnell cannot get back quickly enough. Skara needed to get over there faster. And Skara comes into your picture from over here on the right, and he needed to be there before that pass got there.
There's the 6'11 freshman Manley.
And the Skara's guy was out in the corner, away from the basketball.
Yeah.
That's the guy you leave. You have to go find the 6'10 guy underneath the basket.
13-point lead. May and Johnson are back. And we get a look at Jalik Felton for the first time tonight in the Carolina lineup. Freshman from West Columbia, South Carolina, wearing number 5 for Coach Williams.
And he's the backup point guard, and when Joel Berry is your starting point guard, there's not a lot of minutes for Jalik Felton.
Grantham, scoreless so far. DeVoe, a 3. Got it. Gabe DeVoe has 6 now on a pair of triples.
And if you're Clemson, you just have to settle down. You have to try to get a good shot every time down the court.
Kenny Williams misses from the left corner. Grantham.
Well, he thought about throwing it ahead to Dunhill,
Yes,
didn't
he did. Here's DeVoe. Had it deflected, stolen by Felton. 5 turnovers on the Tigers. Felton tried to slip it to Pinson. And Johnson made the save. And it hit the side of the support. And that's out of bounds to the Tigers. Turnover number 2.
What happened to DeVoe that time is, as soon as they got down the court, he tried to drive the ball, and the North Carolina defense is in position to defend that on the initial play. Move the ball from side to side, move the defenders around, and then drive the ball.
10-point game. An early flurry by the Tar Heels. Broke open a 5-all game, and DeVoe is feeling it.
Okay, that's one way to get back in. Just keep backing up. Where was that from? About Asheville? On the map out there?
Yeah, close. Might have been more toward like Boone and Linville. Inside, nice pass, Pinson from Cam Johnson.
Clemson guys are looking at one another saying, oh, who had him?
Yeah.
And Pinson, he may not be able to shoot threes very well, but my goodness, you leave him alone that close to the basket, you're in trouble.
Here's a turnover with Cam Johnson and Felton for Williams. That's already 10 for Kenny Williams.
That's 10 baskets for North Carolina. They have 9 assists, which tells you what kind of shots they're getting.
Yep.
You can't win a game if you're Clemson when you're giving the other guys that many easy shots.
And an offensive foul on Elijah Thomas. Out in the midcourt area, his first, 3rd on the Tigers.
And this again, you have the double team there and nobody picks up Pinson. Again, there has to be somebody coming from the other side to help. And here, you want to drive the ball to the basket, but you simply can't take it into a crowd like that. An easy fast break for North Carolina.
11-point lead.
And if Clemson's going to come back in the game, they have to tighten it up on the defensive end.
Got it away, and here is DeVoe. 3-on-1. Gabe DeVoe, the layup. 8 in a row for DeVoe.
Just what the doctor ordered. You've got to force some turnovers. You've got to get some easy shots. There's plenty of time left in this game. But you've got to somehow reverse the momentum out here.
Well, that early 13-0 run gave Carolina a working margin. Clemson's cut it back to 9. And here's Thomas off the main miss. Mitchell. And a foul on Felton for the reach. His first 5 on Carolina. Gabe DeVoe. Here's power in Clemson. Tigers trail by 9. And the ball when we come back. Carolina, we welcome you back to Chapel Hill tonight. Don't forget on your regional sports network this week, another edition of ACC All Access. Jeff Fischel on assignment. So, Dan, they've asked me to come in and talk about it.
Okay, people will watch for that reason.
So we'll recap tonight's big game. Also look ahead at matchups throughout the weekend of the conference. And we'll talk women's basketball, too. Louisville is off to an unbelievable start. Huge win over Notre Dame last week. Can they keep their hot streak alive? Check your local listings for ACC All Access on your regional sports network.
Now, you talk about a hot streak. North Carolina, we mentioned they've got 11 baskets. They've got 10 assists. And those 10 assists have come from 7 different players.
Here's Thomas, remember off the Felton foul, and Grantham a 3. Elijah Thomas the rebound, second chance. Reed wastes no time. May the rebound. Johnson, and that's a long one.
Now, Cameron Johnson is the guy who has struggled with injuries, and he is just now rounding back into close to 100% form. And when he's at 100%, we have seen during his career at Pitt, he can really shoot the ball.
Yep, sure can.
And how about that range?
At 14-11 here last Tuesday night against BC, only played 3 minutes at Notre Dame, had only 7 points on 2 of 10 at Notre Dame in some brief action. And now here's Mitchell on a second chance for the Tigers, and foul will be ticketed to the Tar Heels.
I think it's Johnson.
Yep.
Now, Gabe DeVoe created that foul by crashing the boards, but Wes, I'm telling you, Clemson has good three-point shooters, but it seems to me right now they are settling for three-point shots. The ball has to go inside and then come outside.
Well, and you get to ratios, we talk about it every once in a while, 18 field goal attempts, of which 12 are threes for Coach Brownell's team.
When you've got Elijah Thomas on the court, that you can't have that ratio. The ratio needs to be reversed.
Dante Grantham, scoreless, checks out. And Amir Sims has come in.
I don't think Clemson is going to beat very many people if Dante Grantham doesn't score. He has been such a key component for the Tigers this year.
Sims slipping that screen, tried to dump it down to Thomas. May, a nice job to get a hand in there. You see Garrison Brooks, freshman from Lafayette, Alabama, wearing number 15, has also entered the ball. There's a look at Sims, who's an outstanding prospect for the Tigers.
We talked about Clemson not helping on defense. That time North Carolina helped very well. Elijah Thomas was open, but they got in there and knocked it away. Did the Tar Heels.
16 to shoot for DeVoe.
See, Thomas has to work a little harder in there to get the ball. Got to put some pressure on Luke May.
Mitchell trying to get around Williams. Here goes Thomas, and tripped and fouled by Luke May. First on May, 7 on Carolina. So 1-1 with 6.5 to go in the opening frame here.
Well, this is not exactly what I had in mind, but you throw it to Thomas at the free throw line, and he goes around. Now, Roy Williams is claiming that he hooked him. Well, whatever works, I suppose.
Thomas is 67% at the line.
Roy is unhappy.
Yep. 1-1 for the junior transfer.
And our officiating crew is probably not happy that he got his voice back.
Clemson is number 1 in the ACC in conference play at 84%. They were 3 for 3 prior to the Thomas miss there. 12-point lead for the Tar Heels.
And West, generally, they do a nice job getting to the line.
Yep. Barry, that's a 2. Brooks kept it alive. May battles. Pinson cannot save it. Into the Tiger bench it goes, and it will belong to Coach Brownell's club.
It's very interesting, this North Carolina team. They do not have the big horses inside that they've had, and yet they're still among the best rebounding teams in the country. And you saw why right there. Everybody rebounds the ball.
Yep.
Everybody goes after it.
Andrew Platek has come in, freshman from Guilderland, New York, averaging about 4 minutes in conference play per contest. He wears number 3 for Carolina. And defends Reed. Thomas with the catch on Brooks. Brooks blocked it out of there.
Nice defense. I think that's where Clemson needs to go, though.
Pinson spinning around Thomas. Platek. And a kick by DeVoe. It'll stay with the Tar Heels.
Ball goes inside, and nobody's really coming over to help. There isn't an open person to whom Thomas can look to throw the ball. That's just very good one-on-one defense.
Substitution, Skara. David Skara back from Croatia, the junior transfer from Valpo. And he gets Reed's spot.
So Clemson going with a bigger lineup now. Thomas and Sims and Skara all in the game at the same time.
Barry launching. Platek trying to keep it alive. Sims out of there, and a foul on Carolina.
I think that's Brooks.
His first 8 on the Tar Heels. And so 1-1 at the Tiger end of the floor. And Palmyra, Virginia freshman Amir Sims, who averages just 5 minutes a ball game in league play so far at the strike.
You just showed your Roy Williams, and based upon that look that Roy Williams is giving out there, would you guess he's up or down for?
I would not base on his facial expression that he's up.
You know, that's why you win 3 national championships. That's why you've been in the last 2 national championship games. You demand excellence.
Yep. Sims buys 1 of 2.
So just because they're ahead by 11 points, that doesn't necessarily mean he likes everything that's going on out there.
Yep. And there's a foul. That's Thomas, I believe, for number 2.
And this is what happens to Elijah Thomas. His first foul, okay, they're not going to call that on Thomas. They're going to call that on DeVoe. Well, that's a break for Clemson. But Thomas, he picked up 1 foul on an illegal screen, and here he's out there reaching. He's very fortunate he didn't get this foul call. That's not on DeVoe. I think Roy Williams is saying, sure you got the foul right.
Gabe says 10.
Roy Williams is
Mike Eads looked to Les Jones and said 10. Roy Williams says it's on 14.
Now, Roy Williams is allowed to ask him to look at it.
Now Mike Eads and Les Jones are going to talk.
The officials are permitted to go into the monitor to see who committed the foul. Now, in a situation like this where Roy Williams Mike Eads basically told him no, it was 10.
Right.
So if Roy Williams is going to insist on this and they go over to the monitor and look and they decide it really was DeVoe, then Roy Williams is going to get charged with a timeout. But in this particular case, I think this is a good risk by Roy Williams because DeVoe wasn't anywhere near it.
Yeah. And Elijah Thomas came away from the play as if he committed the foul, and they called it on DeVoe.
Well, now what are we doing? Here's DeVoe. That's DeVoe right there. He didn't get close. They didn't even, I don't think they even looked at the monitor. They just talked about it and decided they were going to keep it with DeVoe. So tough break right there for Roy Williams in North Carolina.
Break for Clemson.
Absolutely.
Thomas goes to the bench though. DeVoe has his first. That's 4 on the Tigers.
Brad Brownell's not going to play with fire. Well, see, now here's the problem because this foul is on DeVoe. That's another foul on DeVoe.
And that's 2 on Gabe DeVoe and 5 on Clemson. Now Reed will spell the senior from Shelby, Gabe DeVoe.
Well, I think at this point, Clemson is just hoping they can get to the locker room still in contention in the game because the Tigers just have simply not played very well so far here in the first 15 minutes.
And survived a couple of haymakers in that, first 7 minutes of the game, man. May missing on the 3. Brooks went over the back of Donnell. And Garrison Brooks, quickly a couple of fouls, I believe. Lee Cassell confirming that. Second on the freshman, Brooks. 9 on Carolina. So 1-1 down at the other end for the grad transfer from Michigan, Mark Donnell, who's 13 of 16 at the line. As you see, Andrew Platek come out of the ball game for Carolina.
Well, North Carolina, we talked about the fact that they were playing a small lineup. Their bigs inside are young, Manley and Brooks. Brooks has been a little foul prone. But there, Clemson, they still struggle. They're not making free throws either.
Well, they've missed 3 free throws, but 2 of them are front ends of 1-and-1s. They're 4 of 7 now in the first half. 11-point game. And Williams took his eye off of it. That'll cost the Tar Heels.
Now, Wes, let's think about this a little bit. This lead has stayed at 11-12 for a couple of minutes now. And it appears that North Carolina has had an opportunity to really put the game away, and the Tar Heels have not done it. So we will have to see maybe if this is going to be a key stretch of the game. If Clemson can get it going a little bit, the Tar Heels may look back on this particular stretch and wish they'd done a better job putting the Tigers away.
Tigers are going to do it with some reserves, too. Skara, Sims, and Donnell on the floor with the starting guards in Reed and Mitchell. Shelton Mitchell. Nice scoop off the glass. Donnell hit it when it was in the interference. Yep. So basket interference on Mark Donnell here.
Well, I can understand Donnell's problem here. I didn't think there was any way this ball was going to the basket. Here comes Donnell going to the goal. If the ball is on the rim or within the cylinder, and that clearly looked like it was in the cylinder. North Carolina, we mentioned they haven't scored in the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
and still lead 11.
Clemson has had one free throw during that time, and as you mentioned, they missed the front end of the 1-on-1 twice.
Johnson, Pinson another three.
I think maybe he should stop shooting those.
I think he's missed 4 of them now in this first half. As Theo Pinson from three-point territory. His attempted 3, which makes him 4 for 30 on the year. Mitchell. Skip across. Reed. Clemson can't answer back. Donnell banged at it, but Johnson has it. Berry slapped out by Skara. Nice play by the Tiger defensively. And now they scramble inside. Look at the rumble. Look out. They're going to end up in Coach Bonner's lap over here. And Sims inside. Amir Sims, 237-pound rookie. His first field goal, and then Williams had it blocked at the other end. It'll stay with the Tar Heels. Under 4 timeout here in Chapel Hill. After an early flurry, nothing coming easy now at either end of the floor. We'll return to Chapel Hill on the Tuesday night of ACC College Hoops after this. A moment ago between number 20 Clemson and number 15 North Carolina merits us our CPI Security Systems Defensive Player of the Game.
One thing we've seen from each team, Wes, is they have been able to turn defense into offense. North Carolina right there. Clemson tipping it away. DeVoe getting down the court to score. Remember, though, North Carolina, they haven't scored in the last 4 minutes and 23 seconds of this game.
9-point lead.
And one of the reasons is Clemson hadn't turned it over quite so much.
Right. Tigers had some early turnovers. They got 8 of them here in this first half. Foul called. Dante Grantham is first. As you see Sterling Manley come back on the floor. That's 6 against Clemson. Cam Johnson out. Manley's in with May, Kenny Williams, Theo Pinson, and Joe Barry.
Now he gets another foul.
And that'll be free throws for Carolina.
I think he fouled Joe Barry.
Or Kenny Williams. Skara's second.
No, he fouled Williams. Barry takes the ball out of bounds.
So Kenny Williams, 71% free throw shooter, has got 11 here in the first half.
He's the one that really got the Tar Heels started.
Absolutely. You know what, Dan, and he's a guy, Roy Williams talking to us today about the struggles they had in South Bend. Williams had 5. We already told you Cameron Johnson had 7. Carolina was left kind of standing around. Luke May only had, well, he had 18 and 11. Theo Pinson, 13. And you give Mike Bray's team credit, they probably had a good bit to do with that.
Yeah, but the bottom line is North Carolina won the game.
Yeah. And a road win is what this year, right? That's huge.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not happening very much. Home teams have won 74% of the early conference games. And 7 of the last 10, by the way. Thomas. And 1. Elijah Thomas just using that size and space, if you will, at the post.
Size and space and experience, Wes. He did a great job getting position inside. Manley's behind him, and he just keeps Manley there. He doesn't actually push him back, but Manley is not able to hold his ground. Manley is a big kid, but I think he needs to get stronger. He's just not able to hold his ground, and that's what we talked about. And Thomas is a guy that's got to get involved on the inside.
Chance to cut it to 8 if the junior from Dallas can finish this off. Cannot. Elijah Thomas is 1 of 3 at the line.
You know, just as we think maybe North Carolina has missed a golden opportunity to put the Tigers away, the Tigers are missing some opportunities to make this game a heck of a lot closer.
May. 10 to shoot with Manley. Barry working around DeVoe, slides into traffic, and Thomas slapped it out of there.
Well, DeVoe's got to be careful. He's got those 2 fouls.
Yep. Reed. Grantham, a triple. Long rebound, Mitchell.
I thought he was going to shoot that.
Nice high screen by Thomas, and then that got deflected. And here's Carolina, and May took a shot to the face.
I think May got poked in the eye by his own guy.
And Luke May goes down and is bleeding.
Well, he's got that cut above his left eye anyway.
And so Luke May is down. Doug Halverson is the Tar Heel athletic trainer. And he and Coach Williams out to tend to May. Ooh, elbow. Kenny Williams.
Yeah, Kenny Williams elbowed him right in the head.
So friendly fire it is, Dan.
Now, there's enough blood on his hand. Did he hit him in the nose?
Or possibly. So they're tending to May.
And Williams is being tended to. He's got blood on his
elbow.
He's got a cut on his elbow. He hit him hard enough that he cut his elbow.
Wow.
Looks like it's... I still can't tell.
Yeah. Luke does. You can see a little bit of the blood on his shoulder.
Yeah, if Roy would get out of the way, we could see.
I'll pass that along next time.
Well, I just hate to see that.
Oh, yeah. So May is up and will, I think, probably go straight back to the Tar Heel locker room, and he will through the tunnel. And Brandon Robinson.
Looks like he's holding his nose, doesn't it?
So we'll pass along any information we get on.
Have you ever had your nose broken by somebody hitting you in the face with an elbow?
Not directly that way.
I have, and it's not pleasant.
No. Got to believe it. That probably hurts. So you see May on the way back.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Robinson, who has played briefly in the first half and has a 3 to his credit. Now remember, you're taking Carolina's leading scorer and leading rebounder off the floor. Here in the final 145 of this opening frame.
And suddenly you get very, very inexperienced on the inside.
Right. 7 to shoot, Barry. Bounce pass, Pinson. Skip. Robinson, a high arcing 3. Wow. Shot clock running down. Only got 5 made threes on the year. Brandon Robinson answered the call.
And hit somebody flying right in his face. That was just an outstanding pass by Theo Pinson.
Big momentum basket for the Tar Heels with 72 seconds to go. Grantham still scoreless in this first half. They tried to go to Thomas, and a foul on Robinson. Second on Robinson.
One of the things, Wes, that has impressed me today about North Carolina is their ability to move the ball here. It's almost like a dribble drive motion kind of thing. They penetrate, draw the defense, and that's 4 assists now for Theo Pinson, and he's the assist leader on this team.
Yep.
We said he doesn't mind taking chances. He leads them in assists, and he leads them in turnovers. And probably jokes told. He's, of course,
there is no doubt about
everybody knows that he's the class clown for this North Carolina team.
But it's okay to be the personality guy.
Absolutely.
And I think the one thing Roy Williams talked about is now he knows as a senior you got to be the leader guy too. Here's Elijah Thomas, who's struggled at the line and continues. Hit his first, now has missed 3 in a row.
And Clemson has struggled from the line.
Yes, they have. Tigers are at 4 for 9.
And remember, 2 of those were the front end of the 1-on-1, so they've left some points at the free throw line.
A minute 8 to go in this first half. Front rim miss.
And you know, at this point in the game, Wes, that's almost like a turnover.
Evansville, Indiana native Brad Brownell standing over there with hands on hips as Carolina goes to work in front of his bench here in this opening half.
They got to dig in defensively. That's what we said before. That's how Clemson is going to come back in the game, and they are a very good defensive team, and there's a foul on the 3-point attempt.
Barry got knocked down by Mitchell. Shelton Mitchell from Waxhaw, North Carolina. Started his college career at Vanderbilt. His first, 8 on Clemson. And here's the 4th best free throw shooter in the ACC in Joel Berry, who's missed 7 times in 64 tries to shoot 3.
And he's got 3.
And is scoreless tonight, as you see.
I think it really says something about the balance that this North Carolina team has shown, at least tonight, that Barry scoreless up until then. Luke May has, what, 1 basket in the game, and yet
That's right.
they have a 13-point lead. You know, Robinson has been big, hitting a couple threes. That's the biggest lead the Tar Heels have had.
Yep.
Obviously, Kenny Williams with a couple of threes early in the game got the Tar Heels rolling.
How about Brandon Robinson, too, right?
Absolutely.
Play second in for North Carolina.
6 threes for Carolina and 13 field goals. And Playtech gets Robinson here in the final 46.1. And the third one good.
That's a nice little spurt by North Carolina, breaking out of that just very brief period of doldrums to seize control of the game again.
DeVoe. Donnell. And the rebound for Huffman. Big Brandon Huffman, the freshman from Goldsboro, North Carolina, on the floor. And the shot clock and game clock.
A couple of tenths of a second for all intents and purposes. They're the same.
Yep. Joel Berry with a look back to his head coach. Playtech and Williams on the wings here with 7 to shoot. Berry with 3, skips it to Pinson. 3 ball. And there is the end of the half. Carolina, an early flurry, a 13-0 run, but a 6-0 run has pushed it to the largest lead of the half. 38-23. Tar Heels lead the Tigers. Hardy's halftime report from Chapel Hill next. ACC basketball is brought to you by Hardy's, home of the $5 All-Star Meals. How about Carolina's ball movement in the first half? We talked about it. 12 assists on 13 made field goals.
Well, again, it's movement of the ball and movement of players. Ball going from side to side. It goes in, the defense collapses. Nobody guarding the players inside. Here, a drive to the basket. The defense goes to cover the ball. Another drive, and they get a man open in the corner. That was a tough shot that Robinson made, too. Roy Williams still doesn't look happy, but I thought his team played very well in the first half.
By the way, Luke May not on the bench as we start the second half. And so Garrison Brooks, the freshman from Alabama, wearing number 15, starts.
And the initial report we got on Luke May is that he has a bad cut on his nose. That's very preliminary. They don't know whether there's, like he broke his nose, but they know at least that he's got a bad cut on his nose.
Grantham, who was scoreless in the opening frame for Coach Brownell, feeds Mitchell. And the 3 pounds away for Pinson's rebound.
Well, Reed, Grantham, and Mitchell are the 3 leading scorers for Clemson. They're scoring about 43 points a game coming in here, and combined, they had 2 in the first half.
Johnson with a skip for Williams. Made a tough catch of a pass.
North Carolina's fortunate to keep that one.
Barry, 10 to shoot. Cameron Johnson rings the bell. 3rd 3 of the night for the grad transfer from Pittsburgh.
You know, I think in this situation, the Clemson Tigers, they got to tell each other, we got to guard our own guy. And that's what Brad Brownell is going to say. You cannot help off Joel Berry driving to the basket. There's Luke May to give Cameron Johnson an open 3.
So Luke May's back on the Tar Heel bench. His team's up 18. Toyota Let's Go Places takes us around the ACC. You see May, 4th in the loop in scoring, behind Bagley, Colson, and Battle, and also in rebounding, number 2 behind the rookie from Arizona, Marvin Bagley. And now Luke May has returned to the Carolina bench and has been cleared to return. And all smiles with the 5 stitches, Dan.
Well, and he looks like he could audition for a part in a Rocky movie.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't a couple games ago he had that cut under his eye.
Yeah. Here's Grantham out of the Brad Brownell timeout. The Tigers find themselves down 18. And there is Thomas. 9 for Elijah Thomas.
Thomas, with all that experience in there, going up against young big guys who are playing because May is on the bench. Oh, boy, what happened there?
Here's a turnover, and Reed will score.
I think Barry was looking up, seeing where he was going to pass the ball, and just dribbled it off Reed's foot.
Shot fake, and Johnson. Another one. 14 now for Cameron Johnson.
And on a day when Barry has yet to score a field goal and Luke May has only scored one, how big is Johnson been?
Thomas the left hand.
See, I don't think they can guard him in there.
Well, that's why he was your forward key for the Tigers tonight, right? In particular, Elijah Thomas. Middlemen as a whole, but 14 was a big part of it. Johnson, another one, fouled by Elijah Thomas. That'll be his second, first of the half on the Tigers. The junior from Dallas, Dan, you said this got the opening basket of the game and then slowly drifted away from going to the post on offense.
In the first half, Wes, Clemson attempted 25 total field goals. 15 of them were from beyond the arc. And I just don't think that, even though the Tigers have good three-point shooters, I don't think that any team can really play at that kind of a ratio.
Just the second miss at the line this year for Johnson, who's playing in his 8th game.
Now, of course, you can if you're going to make those shots, but, you know, if they're not going in the basket, there's a 2-word piece of advice I'd give everybody, and that is get closer.
14 for Cameron Johnson. Make it 15 on his first free throw conversion, and then Brad Brownell with a word with his senior Gabe DeVoe at the Tiger bench. 16-point lead.
I think for the most part tonight, Joe Barry has done a pretty good job keeping Mitchell in front of him.
Backdoor, Thomas the catch and layup.
Well, he can catch it in there, can he?
Yep.
Roy Williams thought he walked, but he didn't have possession of the ball. Uh-oh, something's wrong with Roy.
Yep. Coach Williams, who's been known to have some dizzy spells, some vertigo from time to time, and they stopped playing.
He just went down on one knee.
Yep. And right back up coaching.
At least yelling at the referee. Well, I hope he's okay.
Yeah. Barry. Brooks tried to help with the screen. Tigers played it well. Johnson's been on fire. Keeps it going.
I don't think you can help off Cameron Johnson.
10 and a half, 18 in the game for Cameron Johnson.
But, you know, he's big enough that even if Reed is right on top of him, Johnson can get that shot off over Reed. There's about a 6-inch height advantage there.
Thomas a crossover, kicks it in the corner for Reed's 3.
That's Reed's first basket of the game. Comes in here averaging 16 points a game, and that's his first basket.
18 in league play. 14-point game. May to the scores table for the Tar Heels. Barry thought about it against Mitchell. Back for Pinson. Oh, Williams. Johnson, offensive foul. Third on Cameron Johnson, first of the half on the Tar Heels.
And there was a better matchup for Clemson. Squara, who's taller, forced Johnson to put the ball down, and as a result, he committed a charge. Here comes Luke May.
So May is on for Brooks.
You know, May sort of has a finesse kind of game, but he is not a finesse kind of guy. Clearly.
No, sir.
I still think I'd go to Thomas on the inside.
Reed a pull-up, 2. 5 in a row for Marquise Reed, Dan.
Now, Reed's a guy who could score. He can get hot. And, Wes, we've still got 16 minutes left to go in the game. It's a 12-point ball game.
9 now for Reed.
And if you're Clemson, you have to understand you're not going to get it all back at once.
Williams from May in traffic, and a jump ball that will stay with Carolina on the possession. Timeout here in Chapel Hill. How about 10 second half points for Cam Johnson? 3 triples. Your local Ford dealer. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. The tools you want, you got it. And by Works. Well, a look inside what is now known as Carmichael Arena. Used to be the house that Dan Bonner played in.
Well, I sat on the bench and watched games played there. Then it was the legendary Carmichael Auditorium.
Yes, it was. Home of the Tar Heels up until January 1986 and the longest pro home win streaks. You see the Lakers, the Orioles, the Packers, and the Anaheim Ducks. Who would have guessed that as Joel Berry knocks down a three? His first field goal of the night doubles his number to 6. Lead 15 and Thomas another catch. Reed's had the hot hand and continues to ring the bell for the Tigers. He's got 10 and a half and 12 in the ball game.
And that's good news for Clemson because Theo Pinson was right on top of him.
Almost 5 minutes gone, second half. 12-point lead. That 13-0 run at the beginning of the ball game still could be determined as the differential. And Berry a step back two off a nice move.
Look out. He's getting hot now.
Here's Thomas. Pinson blocked it and draws the foul.
Well, you got to say that Pinson just never stops playing. I mean, his line in the game, he's got 4 points, he's got 6 rebounds, he's got 5 assists, he's got a steal, and he's got 3 blocked shots. Picked up a foul there. But you certainly can't fault the effort. That's his second foul. And you see there, he's shaking his head. He always thinks he blocks the shot.
Here's Thomas now. Remember, hit his first, missed his next 4 at the line in the first half. Has 13 tonight, does the big fella from Dallas. Let's see if we do a little scoring at home here, Dan. A 2 or a 3? Looks like that might be a 3.
Well, I don't know that it's clear enough to change it from a 2 to a 3.
Yeah.
Did the referee signal they were going to look at it? But the referees, they do not stop the game right at the moment to check for 2 or 3. They signal to the scorer's table, and at the next media timeout, they're allowed to go over and check.
They got about 3 minutes and change before that occurs.
If they have signaled that they're going to do it.
Clemson zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, North Carolina's been doing such a good job moving without the ball, handling the screen and roll situations, and Clemson simply hadn't defended it very well.
Carolina with 10 threes. It'll stay that way. Long rebound for Reed.
And that's why you go to a zone. As a team that's moving pretty well, you want to get them to stand.
Offensive foul, Marquise Reed.
Nice job by Berry. And you saw that last night in that Duke-Miami game. Miami playing really well against Duke's man-to-man. When Duke went to a zone, they stood. Berry just, I mean, he's totally in position. That's one of those situations where if you read, you got to somehow get yourself stopped. If you're double-teamed, somebody's open. Nice help defense by Berry.
And we hear Carolina is a better defensive team. What have you seen that reinforces that? Here's a 3 out of the corner.
I think they've done a really nice job, particularly early in the game, contesting shots. And they also did a really good job keeping the ball in front of them.
Reed, another one. Why not?
Well, that was great passing in transition.
Reed's got 13 and a half, now 15 in the ball game. And that is his third 3 of the night.
Oh, this might get a little interesting, Wes. 10-point game.
Carolina broke open a 5-5 tie. Clemson's been to within single digits a couple times, and the Tar Heels have pushed it back, and there's an offensive foul on a Luke May hard dribble off the baseline. Third on the heels, second on the junior May.
Talked about North Carolina ball movement. Well, how about this ball movement? Ball goes inside. Grantham passes up a wide open one, and Reed, he had all day to shoot that one.
Brandon Robinson checks in. Cameron Johnson out of the lineup for Coach Williams' club.
If you're attacking the zone, you simply can't pass the ball around the outside. You've got to get it inside the zone and move it from side to side.
And Reed took his eye off of it, and Williams almost stripped it away.
And Wes, you asked about the North Carolina defense, and one thing I've seen from the North Carolina defense is they are playing very hard. Reed sort of fumbles it away, but Williams, he's not going to give up on it. He's just not going to let him recover it easily. That's an excellent defensive play.
13 to shoot. Mitchell scoreless tonight for the Tigers.
Good job by Berry getting in front of the dribble.
There's Shelton Mitchell taking the wrapping off.
And unfortunately, Luke May sort of got in the way right there.
7-point game now, Dan. 7 minutes in to half number 2, and Brownells Tigers trying to get in the comeback. Staying in the zone is Clemson.
And you're in that zone again to slow North Carolina down.
Mayer front rim miss. Reed had it, lost it. Robinson recovers. Robinson's got a couple of threes already tonight.
He's made 2. I think he was just a little hesitant to shoot that one. He doesn't have a lot of playing time.
Henson.
Clemson back into man-to-man.
Yep. Berry tries to slice it. Got to the rim and whistling foul. With 9 to shoot.
And that's one of the reasons why you play the zone, to prevent plays like that. You said Clemson. North Carolina has done a nice job staying in front of Clemson. Clemson has not done as well staying in front of North Carolina. How long did Berry stay up in the air?
Yeah. A couple of free throws for Berry. 5.5, 8 in the ball game for the senior from Apopka, Florida.
And when he goes to the free throw line, I know that he's missed some because he's only 89%, but you just feel like it's automatic.
It's 4th in the league. Second one good.
So Clemson's gotten their offense straightened out here. They're 9 of 10 shooting in the second half.
Just under 49% now for the ball game. A lot of it is Reed.
And that was a tough shot. Nothing wrong with North Carolina's defense right there.
15 and a half, 17 now for Marquise Reed. Williams, Robinson.
Can't be afraid.
Game is 7 again, and Pinson will draw the foul, and that is 3 on Elijah Thomas.
And Pinson certainly isn't afraid.
3rd on Thomas, 4th on the Tigers. Free throws when we come back to Chapel Hill. Goes from tabletop to workshop in an instant. Portable and handy when you need quick support. Like a picnic for tailgating, yet sturdy enough for heavy lifting in your workshop. And our TV crew used it to set up our broadcast position here tonight in Chapel Hill. The work sidekick, and what am I doing work? Tigers.
And Marquise Reed, he's 6 of 6 shooting in the second half after missing all 5 of his field goal attempts in the first half. And interesting enough, Wes, we're coming back from the timeout, and the Tar Heels have had a point added to their total.
Yep.
We discussed the fact that that shot that Berry took, where we showed you the replay, the officials did review that during the timeout, and they decided it was a 3. So coming out of the timeout, it went from 55 to 56, and now with those 2 free throws, it goes to 58.
Benson got both the free throws. You see Clemson's been perfect in their last 10 shots on the floor for 49-year-old Brad Brownell. 10-point lead for the Tar Heels.
With those 3 fouls, Thomas has now gone to the bench.
Mitchell, all the way to the iron.
He is so strong. Once he gets his head and shoulders by you, even if he's in a crowd on the inside, he can put it up on the basket and score.
8-point game.
Now, after the make, they're back to the zone defense again.
Berry launching again. Oh, boy.
They got to get out on the shooter.
14 in the game, 11 in half 2 for Joel Berry.
And his 3 in the first half were all free throws. He didn't make a field goal in the first half.
Yep.
You know, the good ones just keep playing.
Donnell, 10 to shoot, Grantham. Dante Grantham now, his first points of the game, Dan.
That's his first basket.
Yep. 24th 3 of the year for the senior from Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Seeing the difference in this half, the Clemson 3s are going in.
Skip for Berry. Back to May.
Pass.
Pinson on the drive, the scoop.
They made that a little harder than it needed to be.
Tigers trying for a transition chance. DeVoe. And Mitchell again. Clemson on fire now. 8 for Mitchell. The Tigers have hit 12 in a row from the floor. 13 in a row now from the floor. Down to a 5-point game and under 10 to go tonight in Chapel Hill. May working on Grantham. Berry, another 3. Spun out. And DeVoe the rebound and a foul to Theo Pinson.
The only reason that was a foul was because DeVoe fell down. If DeVoe does not fall down, that's incidental contact. But if you hit a guy and knock him to the ground, then you obviously gain an advantage. So that's a foul, and that's 3 on Theo Pinson, who, as we mentioned, he's had one of those jack-of-all-trade games tonight. He's been really good.
And here is Mitchell bringing it front court against Barry. And the full house at the Smith Center looking on. Donnell a 3. Wow. Clemson now has got the 10th 3 of the year from Donnell. The Tigers to within 2.
Well, that's one way to conduct a rally. You just don't miss any of your shots.
14 straight from the floor by the Tigers. And the game as close as it's been since it was 7-5. Johnson tries to answer. Cannot. May the rebound. Barry left open.
Brandon Robinson made a great play there to keep that ball alive so Luke May could get it. Another offensive rebound for the Tar Heels.
Back to a 5-point contest. Reed. Williams stole it. And a foul on Clemson.
Let's see if that's going to be a flagrant foul. Roy Williams wants one.
It's on Reed, his second. 5 on Clemson.
We talked about Williams and his defensive ability. He just takes it away. Oh, boy, that's close. If you wrap your arms, that's sort of an automatic. I guess he didn't. He just reached in, so that's a pretty good foul.
And Elijah Thomas is going to be whistled into the ball game.
So, and that's one way to defend the Clemson Tigers. If they're making all their shots, don't let them get one. Take it from them.
Well, and ironically, the Tar Heels' best perimeter defender.
Robinson has made a big contribution tonight.
Sure has. So has Cameron Johnson. And he threw it away there, trying to go back.
That's a double dribble. That's a good call.
Reed, a double dribble.
I didn't really see it there. He dribbled the ball to control it, and then he dribbled it again. That's why you pick the ball up. You don't bounce it. You pick it up, and then you start dribbling.
May around Thomas draws number 4. 8:22 to go. Elijah Thomas is 4th. And that is 6 on Clemson.
Now, we talked about Clemson going inside, but Luke May, he can not only shoot the 3, he can play inside very effectively, and he just moves his body right into Thomas, and he protects it with his left arm. And that's hard to do sometime where you don't throw your left arm out there, and Thomas comes over the top and gets the foul. Unfortunately for North Carolina, Luke May is not a great free throw shooter either, coming in only at 60%.
And of the things he does well, Dan, that stat is a little surprising, wouldn't you think?
It's very surprising because he's such a good shooter every place else on the court.
Missed both there. Still only the 2 points for May. And the lead 5 as we grow toward 8 minutes left to go. High screen by Skara. Mitchell. Scoop. Score. Foul. Shelton Mitchell. Now with 10 and a half. And Theo Pinson draws his 4th.
Well, again, we talked about when Mitchell gets his head and shoulders past you, he's awfully hard to guard. Pinson a little slow trying to get in front of him, and then gets the foul coming from behind. So Pinson now has to go out, and that's a lot of energy going to the bench for North Carolina. Pinson is a very valuable player.
Remember earlier in the game I told you Mitchell and Reed are 3 and 4 in free throw percentage in ACC play. And now 11 all in the second half, and all pretty quick here for Shelton Mitchell as Clyde Trapp, a freshman from Eastover, South Carolina, who played 4 minutes against Miami on Saturday at Littlejohn, takes the floor for the first time.
Welcome to the Dean Smith Center.
Wow.
Good heavens.
Here's Johnson with DeVoe defending. May with Skara there.
I don't think Skara can guard him.
May right hand jump hook good.
See, now It's North Carolina with the advantage inside. Thomas is on the bench, and I think it's going to be very difficult for Clemson to defend May on the inside.
4-point game. Almost taken away by Barry Reed. Nice recovery. And deflected away. May on the turnover, and then Reed took it right back. And a foul on Garrison Brooks ahead of the DeVoe dunk.
And that's a great foul by Brooks.
6 on Carolina, 3rd on the freshman. It's tight in Chapel Hill with 7:14 to play.
You're up by 18 at one point in the second half, 41-23, and you shoot better than 50% from the field, but that's how you come back in the game. You make 15-16.
Well, and of course, Carolina's won 58 straight against Clemson at home. Kenny Smith a part of those. He was on the teams that transitioned from Carmichael Auditorium into this facility in January of 1986. Skara a 3. And a rebound for Brooks. Tigers go man here.
And I think you got to go to May if you can. You don't force it in there, but you certainly give him an opportunity. Johnson's matched up against Reed. You might be able to post him up too.
Perry off the back iron. Joel Berry's been hot. He's got 4 threes in the second half. 17 in the ball game. DeVoe. Mitchell. Runner off balance and got the roll.
Good heavens.
Shelton Mitchell has gone wide awake here in the second half after a scoreless opening 20 minutes. Johnson a 3. Whoa! 21 for Cameron Johnson, 3 off his career high.
And again, he is 6'8". He's got 4 or 5 inches on any of the Clemson guards. He can get his shot off out on the perimeter.
Tigers try to answer Skara.
Skara missed that last one, so he was hesitant right there. I think if he gets an open one, he's got to take it.
Good matchup with Mitchell and Barry. Here's Skara with 8 to shoot. Reed tried to split the double team. Skara with 3. 2 on the shot clock. Forced it up. It was an air ball and a shot clock violation on the Tigers.
At this point in the game, if you're Skara and you have an open shot, and coming into the game he's a 60% three-point shooter, doesn't shoot a lot, but if you have an open shot, you have to take it, because if you pass it up, then you're going to be left with you might be left with a tough one, as Clemson was right there.
Grantham going to get back to the table on the next dead ball and re-enter the Clemson lineup.
And they may have to think about putting Thomas back in too.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that if you're Clemson, you can withstand another North Carolina run.
14 threes for the Tar Heels tonight. Barry with 5 on the shot clock all the way through. Threw it away to Reed. He'll challenge Williams, who reached in and knocked it away. But in the process, Kenny Williams commits his first foul.
It's his first foul, and I thought it was worth the try right there. You know, this isn't one where you just leave it go. That's a really good play by Williams.
1 and 1 for Clemson, but 2 shots here.
Yeah, he was in the active shooting.
For Marquise Reed. Reed 92% in conference play.
And one of the reasons that was a good foul by Williams is because he made sure that Reed couldn't get the ball up on the rim. To get the ball up to the basket in that situation and give him a chance for a three-point play. I've really been impressed with Williams tonight. Not only the baskets he made in the first half, but his effort has been really solid.
Reed with 19 now.
And Clemson goes back to the man-to-man.
And May fires a triple in over the top of it.
That's his first 3 of the night.
6-point game with 4.5 to play.
And May is just another one of those guys who keeps plugging away.
Grantham.
Now, you don't have to get all squirrely if you're Clemson. You got plenty of time.
Reed around Williams. Can't knock down the shot, and a foul on Grantham, challenging the rebound by Luke May. 7th on Clemson.
1-1 coming for Luke May, and he's the subject of our Toyota Tweet of the Week via the Carolina basketball account. The ACC Player of the Week is announced yesterday for a third time already. May, the Player of the Week, and Marvin Bagley III, the Rookie of the Week, Dan.
Well, except for Bagley, but Bagley has 4 Player of the Week. You know, Luke May, you would say, well, he's got the inside track, but I'm not sure anybody has the inside track for anything with Bagley in the league.
So here's May at the line. Remember, he missed 2 shots earlier. Knocks down the front end of the 1-and-1 there.
And boy, that's a big one.
This is the kind of ball game we thought we'd have most of the night, right?
Well, it is, and I'm sure Brad Brownell's a little frustrated. His team came up here to Raleigh last Thursday, and they started very poorly, but were able to come back in the game, and they did the same thing tonight.
Yep. Thomas with Brooks there. Brooks. Right hand moved by Elijah Thomas, 16.
And I think if you're Brooks, you can afford to be much more aggressive defensively than that. You know, maybe see if you can't body Thomas a little bit, see if he won't bang into you and get an offensive foul for his 5th foul.
Thomas is playing with the 4. Brooks challenges Thomas and scores.
That's the other thing you do. You attack him because he cannot afford to pick up that 5th foul.
First points for the freshman Brooks. Game is 8 now as we approach 3.5 to go. Inside off the screen, deflected. May, the turnover. Got to get rid of it. And Brooks went over and back. Les Jones, nice piece of officiating at the midcourt stripe. Roy Williams cannot believe it.
Try to get the little
Greensboro
and cough it up to win it. Clemson wins it.
Greg Buckner on the pass from Big Harold Jamison. Tigers win it in Greensboro. A rare North Carolina win for Clemson. And here, of course, the Tar Heels have never lost to the Tigers in Chapel Hill. You see the dominance in some of these games. Only 6 games decided by single digits or in overtime. And here at the Smith Center, we got ourselves an 8-point game with 3:22 to play. Clemson shooting 81% from the floor in the second half. DeVoe a 3 out of the timeout. And Thomas couldn't control it, hit the end line. It'll belong to the Tar Heels.
You have to figure if you're North Carolina, you just keep playing defensively, and eventually Clemson is going to start missing some shots. They made 15 in a row at one point. They missed their first shot of the second half, and they made 15 in a row.
3:07 to go now.
The Tigers, they really have to dig in on the defensive end. They forced 7 turnovers in the second half.
Pinson.
They can certainly use one of those now.
Pinson back on the floor with the 4 fouls.
Pinson's out there with 4. Brad Brownell has Thomas out there with 4.
Both teams in the bonus, too.
I think if you're North Carolina, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go right at Thomas.
Bay, a shot fake on Grantham. Kenny Williams red hot in the first half. Pinson on the drive and out of bounds with 6 to shoot.
And there Pinson going right at Thomas. Thomas did a nice job to avoid the foul.
Game 2 of our doubleheader tonight, Pittsburgh and Syracuse. Coming up with Tim Brando, Mike Cheminsky at the carry dome. 3 to shoot. Pinson threw it away. May didn't look. Turnover number 12 on the Tar Heels tonight.
That was actually the right idea, but May thought he was going to shoot it, so turned around. I think Pinson passing from out there instead of shooting is a very good idea, but he threw it away. Now let's see if Clemson can capitalize.
Grantham on the drive, left it short.
I just think you have to find Thomas inside, and they didn't. You know, Grantham, you'll take that shot from Grantham, but he just has to be stronger on the finish.
Grantham and a foul on May because Dante Grantham was off to the races.
And now Brad Brownell wants to know if that was a flagrant foul, but it was not.
18th foul on Carolina.
That's a nice job by May. He reached in there. It's a 1-and-1. He looked like he was reaching for the ball. Now, again, if in that situation, if you wrap your arms around the guy's waist, then that's automatic. That's the old intentional foul, which has morphed into a flagrant one.
Grantham free throw. He has 4.
And the reason it did that was simply to confuse me.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. They kind of told you that, did they?
You know.
2:11 to go now in a 7-point game. And make it 6 as Dante Grantham rolls in the second one.
All right, you got to stop. Now you got to get another stop. And for North Carolina, you don't want to get passive here. You want to continue to attack.
All the big guns are out there for the Tar Heels, Williams and Johnson in particular, and Barry's had the hot hand from distance here in the second half. May fall away.
See, you need somebody who's not afraid, and that's Luke May. No question that he was going to let that one go.
8-point game with 100 seconds to go. Mitchell tries to answer, and does. Shelton Mitchell, wow, has put on a show in the second half. He's got 16.
And here Clemson trying to trap half court. Again, you be aggressive, but don't get crazy.
And there's a foul. Pinson tagged by Reed, his third. 8 on the Tigers, so 1-and-1 for Theo Pinson, who is 82% on the year and 2 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, in that situation, you'd like him to throw the ball to May, and you foul May because Pinson is a very good free throw shooter. But that's not really what you're thinking about strategy-wise for Clemson. We're trying to get the ball.
7 for Pinson, who played at Wesleyan Christian for Keith Gatlin, Dan, former Maryland Terrapin, who's developed a fine program in the Triad of North Carolina. Pinson made them both. He's got 8. 4-4 at the line of the second half. 80-73.
Well, you got to go now if you're Clemson.
Mitchell all the way and fouled. Got him blocked, but contact draws the whistle. 4th on May. 9 on the Tar Heels.
Mitchell is able to get by Barry, and I think May got called for the foul just because he drops that arm. I think if you keep your arm straight up in the air, they don't call that foul.
Mitchell's hit his only free throw of the night.
And if you're a big guy, it's really a hard thing it's a hard thing to do to not swat at that basketball.
This could cut it. It's already 2 possessions. This could make it 5. And a timeout. 30-second timeout for Brad Brownell will leave him with 1 to go. Carolina has 3. Well, Shelton Mitchell and Marquise Reed have been the guys, but in particular Mitchell, Dan, in the second half.
Mitchell and Reed both in the second half, but Reed, he's not only hit the 3, but he's used that quickness and his strength to get by out on the perimeter, but he has really been a huge factor. You see there a couple threes, a circus shot on the inside against Theo Pinson, but Reed got him going, and then Mitchell picked it up.
So the Tigers down 5. Next foul by Carolina will put Clemson in the double bonus.
Well, no, I don't think it's a bad thing to look out there and see who you want to foul.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes you wait too late to start fouling, and I think this might be one of those times. If you don't get a steal right away, then I think you've got to commit a foul. Now, you don't want Thomas to commit the foul. But you'd like to foul Luke May because everybody else shoots the free throws at over 70%.
Scarra has come on the floor. Mitchell is off the floor for Clemson. And Luke May had a hard time putting the ball in bounds, so a timeout at the Carolina bench.
And I think Roy Williams is very confident having May throw it in, but one of the reasons you have May throw it in anyway is because if he's throwing it in bounds, you can't foul him out of bounds.
May is 2 for 4 at the line tonight.
On the season, he's 60%.
Right.
Barry, you don't want to foul him. He's 89%.
Yep.
Cameron Johnson, you want to run away from him. He's 94%.
Now, he is 1 for 2 tonight. Carolina 15 of 18 at the line, and the pit transfer, Cam Johnson. 3 off his career high 24, Dan. He's got 21 tonight.
Well, he may have only made 1 of 2 free throws, but he's 6 of 9 from beyond the arc. He has really provided a spark for the Tar Heels. You know, Kenny Williams got him going early with threes, and Johnson making threes at every point when Clemson seemed to be about to break back into the game really helped push the Tar Heels ahead. And then down the stretch, it's been Barry and May, as you would expect.
Inbounds here with 67 seconds left out of the timeout. It's Barry.
So you can't foul him.
There's the double team, and here's Pinson with Kenny Williams. Bounce pass, and Williams draws the foul. Can't finish the basket. So a couple of free throws coming for Williams on DeVoe's 3rd foul. 9 on the Tigers.
And if you're the Clemson Tigers, you have to go for steals, and you have to be able to defend plays like this. And that's not a bad foul. Williams, even though he's over 70%, he's the 2nd worst free throw shooter after May out there. So they didn't get a basket. He's got to earn them from the free throw line.
And it popped out. A minute to go. Up 5. Skara out. Mitchell back. And Shelton Mitchell.
Well, you know, he's limping a little bit, but he has had knee problems the entire season. And he's one tough guy. So you want him in the game, obviously. Okay, so now if you're Clemson, you'll take the quick 2 if you can get it. But when you foul like that, you want to trade a 3.
2-possession game, screen by Thomas. Reed to the basket. Marquise Reed.
Now you got to foul him.
Here's the long pass. Williams the catch. And the layup. Clemson back the other way with 46 seconds left. Grantham. Thomas. Knocked out of bounds by May. It'll stay with the Tigers with 41-1 in a 6-point game.
Well, once again, Luke May does a great job getting rid of the ball quickly. But he's not in a panic, just a great pass.
Reed caught it off balance. DeVoe a 3. Missed everything but the rebound from Mitchell. And then turned over to May.
You have to get a 3. A 2 doesn't help you there. If you get the rebound, as Clemson just did, you throw it back out and you get a 3. You can't win the game 2 at a time with 30 seconds left and down 6.
Mitchell's foul, his 3rd, but that's 10 on Clemson. So now 2 shots on every common foul with 30.1 to play here in regulation.
Nice job by Clemson battling back into the game. But, Wes, I'm telling you, you have to tip your hat to North Carolina. It'd be really easy to lose your poise when the other guys are making 15 baskets in a row.
Yep.
But the Tar Heels did not.
The thing you see in both these teams, and Dan, it's becoming a bit of a trait with several teams here in conference play. Boy, strong mental toughness. Real strong. Pinson hits them both. 10 in the game for Pinson. All 5 Carolina starters now in double figures tonight. Grantham. Lean in 3. Crash the glass. Reed's got it. And a foul will be ticketed to the Tigers there.
Now he gets Thomas.
And it is. And Elijah Thomas is going to foul out of his first league game with 14.6 to go. Fouled out of 6 ACC games last year. And you mentioned this at the top. Had been in foul trouble in Raleigh and certainly last Saturday at home against Miami.
Well, I think they did a really nice job playing through his foul problems.
16 points, 6 rebounds tonight for Thomas. Don't forget, Pitt and Syracuse waiting in the wings at the Carrier Dome. Mr. Brando and Jaminski standing by for the Orange and the Panthers.
Well, if you're Brad Brownell, you got to think what might have been if they just get off to a better start. And we said they attempted 25 field goals in the first half, and 15 of them were from beyond the arc, and most of those were contested. And I just think 15 threes versus 10 twos is just too high a percentage for Clemson. They shot 32% overall in the first half before making 15 in a row in the second half. Now, a lot of those were threes, but it was after they went inside and scored a couple baskets inside and drove the defense back. And Of course, you don't make 15 in a row without making some tough shots, so there was a little bit of luck involved, but Brad Brownell has to be very proud of the way his guys hung in there, but he's got to be very disappointed that they got behind in the first place.
Well, and for Clemson now, the Tigers are going to have to value the home game again, much as like they did last week. The tough loss in Raleigh, then got Miami. Notre Dame is at Little John Coliseum on Saturday. And Carolina's going to play back-to-back ACC home games for the only time this year. Tonight, Clemson, Saturday at 2 o'clock. Josh Pastner and Georgia Tech come to Chapel Hill. Huffman the rebound with 6 seconds left. The outlet is thrown. Oliver fouled by Brandon Huffman. And so, A.J. Oliver, the redshirt freshman from Seneca, will get a couple of free throws with 3.8 left. Pittsburgh, Syracuse.
He and Huffman are laughing at one another.
Pittsburgh, Syracuse coming up just as soon as we tick off the final 3.8 seconds here in Chapel Hill. A.J. Oliver, 5 of 7 at the line now this year. Of course, his dad, a former player in this league at Virginia. His mom, Audra Smith, is the women's coach at Clemson.
And a former player in this league at Virginia.
That's right. A.J. hits them both. And that will do it. Carolina has beaten Clemson 59 straight in Chapel Hill. Tigers got it to 61-59, but couldn't close it anymore. For Dan Bonner, our producer Dave Berger, our director Johnny Tyus, a win tonight for the Tar Heels. Off to Syracuse and Tim Brando.